This is the At the Bench segment, and we got a few different things to talk about and show you. Now, just a reminder, most of you probably know this, but Dan here joined CB Gitty not just to be a member of the Gitty Gang here on Fridays, but he's been actively working and learning the ropes out in the Gitty shop. But one of the main things that I saw you working on just today is canjo necks. This is one of our pre-made canjo necks. Now, Danny, you've been fretting them, learning the ropes of fretting and getting those frets installed and the ends smooth. As you can see, possibly, the canjo necks are fretted diatonically, which means some of these fret spaces are skipped. And again, most of you probably know this, but there could be some out there that don't. So I try to never assume everybody knows everything I'm talking about. So diatonic fretting, the effect of that is that basically you take out most of the sharps and flats that would be in a scale of notes. Some call it dulcimer style fretting. By taking out those extra notes, it makes it much easier to play simple tunes because it's much harder to hit a discordant note, a note that just completely sounds off key. Now this is a canjo built using one of these necks. If you've ever played or built a canjo using these diatonic fretting, you know that it does make it a good bit easier to play. Now we use these canjo necks that Danny helps make, and Jake and RJ make a bunch of them. We provide them in canjo kits that we sell. This is more of a standard style canjo, very similar to what could be built from our kit. We happen to have a custom label on this one. It's an antique, vintage coffee can style label. This is a prototype canjo. All of these using this same basic neck, by the way. Prototype canjo that I'm looking at using a little bit different style can. Look at that. That is a pint, like a naphtha or spirits can, gunpowder tin. A lot of gunpowder would come in this style. And this is actually a vintage gunpowder tin label that I printed out and put on this one. Trying to experiment with some different looks and feels of cans to kind of branch out and broaden this whole canjo concept. But the cool thing about these necks, now we build our own canjos with them, we include them in our canjo kits. We also sell them individually. These are 100% made in the USA. They're milled and cut and drilled and fretted here in the Gitty shop. But they aren't just for one-string canjos. Our good buddy Amzie Adams down in New Orleans has bought these in quantity in the past, and he uses them for making two-string cigar box instruments. We pre-drill them for a single tuner. He extends this, adds a second hole or extends this into a slot, adds a second tuner, and I just happen to have a cigar box here. These are fretted to 24.5 inches, and we mark them for where the bridge should be. So if I place that on this cigar box at a reasonable spot for the bridge, about a quarter of the way in from the end, you can see that just rough fitting it like that, it makes it, a decent little instrument of length. Now, we pre-sand a picking divot in there, because when they are used as a canjo, you can see there the picking divot, it's nice to have a little bit of a deeper spot so your pick has some place to strike. Well, if you were to just recess this neck all the way, mount it into this cigar box by cutting a notch, put a brace in there to attach it to, suddenly you've got a simple 1 or 2 string neck that you can use with cigar boxes, cans, all sorts of different things, all with this dulcimer style diatonic fretting, especially for new players. Diatonic fretting can be very approachable. Kids, it's easy to pick out simple little tunes. Of course, got a whole line of canjo songbooks that I've done showing you exactly what number fret to put your finger on to make the notes to play tunes. You can write those numbers right on the side of your neck if you want to make it even easier. So Danny, you're doing good work out there, helping to make these canjo necks that Nice and straight and smooth. Ah, it's fine work.
Thank you.